There are a lot of different people, organizations, and groups that produce content online. And no matter how online you are, you're going to come across some sources of information that you're unfamiliar with. So when we come across an unfamiliar source, how do we determine if it's something that we want to trust? To answer this question, we can take a cue from professional fact checkers. And the first thing that they do when they come across a source that they haven't seen before is to look it up on Wikipedia. You've probably heard of Wikipedia. It's an online encyclopedia with millions of articles, with more being added all the time. You may have also heard some bad things about Wikipedia, but any bad reputation that it has is from when it first started out over 2 decades ago. Since it started, Wikipedia has developed strict guidelines about sourcing facts back to reliable sources, and any errors in Wikipedia articles are usually corrected very quickly. And because people must write Wikipedia articles from a neutral point of view, that means that Wikipedia articles are often the best introduction you can get to a subject online. Now, in some cases, like if you're writing a research report, you don't want to use Wikipedia as your sole source of information, but it can be really useful for getting some quick information about a source that we haven't seen before. There's a lot more to be said about why Wikipedia is a good source of information, and you can check out some of our other videos if you want to learn more about it. But for now, I'm going to show you a simple technique to use Wikipedia to evaluate unknown sources of information. Let's start with an example. This is an article from the New York Times claiming that the e-cigarette vaping company Juul has settled a case over claims about marketing their products to minors. This sounds interesting, but is this a reliable source? We can use Wikipedia to find out. We're going to go up to the search bar and look at the URL. Now you'll see here that there's a lot of stuff, but we're really just interested in this first bit, the bit that says nytimes.com. So we're going to delete everything afterwards here, including that slash, type a space, and then the word Wikipedia. And then we're going to hit enter. Now there's nothing special here, this just does a search, but you'll see that it floats the Wikipedia entry we're interested in right to the top of our search results. Very handy. Our little Wikipedia trick will work in any browser and with any search engine, and it will also work on a phone or a tablet. If you're finding it difficult to manipulate the URL on your phone, then you can also just do a Google search with the name of the website and the word Wikipedia. So in this case, we would do a Google search for nytimes.com space Wikipedia, and we'd get the same results. So let's click on the Wikipedia entry for the New York Times. Now that we're here, what should we look out for? Well, each entry is going to look a little bit different. So rather than giving you a checklist about the things that you should look out for, I want you to just focus on 2 main questions. First, is the site or organization the type of source you thought it was? And second, does the information that you can learn about it make the source more or less trustworthy? The answers to these questions can usually be found near the top of the article or maybe in the box to the side that's got some bullet point information, but sometimes you will have to dig a little bit deeper. So looking at our Wikipedia entry for the New York Times, we can look at the box on the right and we can see that it was founded in 1851. So that's over 170 years ago. Now, age does not necessarily mean that a source is reliable. There are lots of reliable sources that have not been around for very long at all. But the fact that it has been around for so long at least tells us that it is a well-established organization. So that's one clue we can use to start to put together a bigger picture. If we read the article for more details, we can see that it's an American newspaper with a worldwide readership and influence, and is considered a national newspaper of record. We can also see that it has won a number of Pulitzer Prizes for journalism, more Pulitzer Prizes, in fact, than any other newspaper. Something that's great about Wikipedia is that if we come across a term that we're not familiar with, like newspaper of record or Pulitzer Prize, then we can just hover over them to learn what they mean. And if we really want to, we can click on those terms and go to their own Wikipedia pages. Now, when it comes to the New York Times, we've answered our 2 big questions. First, we went into this investigation probably thinking that the New York Times was a newspaper, and everything that we've learned matches those expectations. Second, the information that we've learned about it tells us that this does seem to be a trustworthy source of information. And if you don't want to take Wikipedia's word for it, all claims made in Wikipedia articles are backed up by citations, so you can always scroll to the bottom and verify those claims firsthand. Now here's another article. It's from a publication called the Epoch Times, and it has a headline that says, "Secondhand vaping is harmful to pets." Now, this might seem plausible, but before we go clicking on this, we want to first figure out what this source of information is. We're going to do the same thing as we did last time. We're going to go up to the search bar, look at that URL, take off everything past the .com, type a space, and then the word Wikipedia. We see again that it floats the Wikipedia entry right to the top of the results. Clicking on that link, we can see that the Epoch Media Group's websites have a history of promoting conspiracy theories, spreading misinformation, as well as a lot of other red flags. If we wanted to investigate further, we could scroll down to the bottom of the page and look at some of those citations. But for right now, we've learned that while this does claim to be a newspaper, it's not one that seems to be particularly trustworthy. Sometimes these dubious sites do publish real news, but regardless of whether this article is accurate, this is not where we want to get our information from. So what happens if you do the Wikipedia trick and you don't find a Wikipedia entry? Most major news organizations do have an entry on Wikipedia, so if you're reading something that you think is from a major news organization and there isn't a Wikipedia entry, that could mean that it's not the source you thought it was. Otherwise, if we come across a story on a website that we can't easily investigate, that doesn't mean that it's a bad source or that everything that it publishes is made up. But it's enough that you might want to try to find the story from a more established source, or at the very least, slow down and make sure to check everything twice.